All right, so are you ready for this one? Because this deep dive, we are going to be looking at a story that might make you reconsider staying at that, you know, charming, secluded ryokan when you visit Japan. Yeah, so this time we're focusing on just a single firsthand account from someone who experienced something really, really creepy.
Right.
Our source for this deep dive is Lily Henderson.
Okay.
And she shared her story on a podcast called HHorrorStories.
I see.
And you can just hear the fear in her voice even all these years later as she recounts what happened at this ryokan.
Wow.
Yeah. So, you know what makes these types of firsthand accounts so interesting?
Yeah.
To me, at least, is that they offer like a raw, unfiltered perspective on what it's like to actually experience the unexplained.
Right.
And, you know, in this case, it's not even just about like, you know, a ghost story or something. It's more like a window into how personal experiences can, you know, clash with cultural beliefs and stuff, especially in a place like Japan with such a rich history of folklore and the supernatural. So to set the stage for you, Lily and two of her friends travel to Kyoto, and they're really excited to immerse themselves in Japanese culture and everything.
Yeah.
So they find this really beautiful historic ryokan that's nestled amidst serene gardens and like these really tall bamboo groves.
I can picture it.
Yeah, and at first it's just like everything they hoped for. It's peaceful and traditional and absolutely breathtaking, you know?
So far, so good.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But there's this one detail that she mentions that I think is really important.
Okay.
She talks about how unusually quiet the ryokan is. Like almost unnaturally so.
Interesting.
Yeah, and it makes me think about how in Japanese culture, silence often holds a deeper meaning.
Right.
Especially in spaces that are considered sacred or where spirits are believed to, you know, dwell.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And that makes what happens next even more unsettling.
Oh, boy.
So they're being shown to their room.
Okay.
And the ryokan receptionist,
Uh-huh.
he gives them this really cryptic warning.
What does he say?
He tells them to keep their door closed at night. And if they hear any strange noises, whatever they do, don't look back.
Oh, wow. That's creepy.
I know, right?
Yeah.
And it makes you wonder, you know, is this like a normal thing that they tell guests at ryokans?
Right.
Is it just like to kind of play up the mysterious atmosphere of these old places?
Yeah, or is it, there's something more
exactly.
like a genuine warning.
Right.
Because they know something.
Yeah, and the way Lily describes the receptionist's demeanor, it seemed like he was genuinely concerned.
That's not good.
Not good at all.
Yeah.
So at first, Lily and her friends kind of just brush it off as, you know, one of those spooky stories.
Right.
But as they settle in, they start to get this creeping sense of unease.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Lily is in her room and she notices just how silent it is.
Like too quiet.
Way too quiet. She said there's no insects chirping, no wind in the bamboo, like nothing.
Wow.
It's like this unnerving stillness that just makes every little sound seem so much louder.
I can imagine.
And I don't know if you've ever experienced this, but you know when you're deprived of like certain sounds that you're used to,
Right.
especially in a new environment, it can really mess with you.
For sure.
It's like your brain is looking for that input.
Yeah.
And when it's not there, it kind of starts to fill in the gaps.
Right.
And that can make you anxious, even cause hallucinations.
Yeah, it makes you feel really vulnerable, too.
Exactly. Like your senses are heightened.
Uh-huh.
But it's not in a good way, you know? It's like you're hyper aware, but also super exposed.
Yeah, that's scary.
And then things take a turn for the worse.
Oh, no. What happens?
So Lily wakes up in the middle of the night, freezing cold. And she realizes that the window, which she had closed earlier, is now slightly open.
Oh.
And she gets this overwhelming feeling that something is watching her from the bamboo grove outside.
Ugh. I hate that feeling.
Oh, me too. It's the worst.
Yeah, like, someone's staring at you, but you can't see them.
Yeah, and you're just in this dark, unfamiliar place.
Right, and you're just, like, completely vulnerable.
Totally. So Lily tries to rationalize it. You know, she closes the window, tries to go back to sleep. But then she hears this faint scratching sound coming from the door.
No.
Yeah, and it's like slow and deliberate, almost rhythmic.
Like fingernails on wood.
Exactly. It's like something out of a horror movie.
Ugh, that's terrifying.
I know, and this is where things start to really escalate.
Right.
It's not just a feeling anymore or an open window, you know?
Right, it's like something is actually there.
Yeah, like an active presence that's interacting with her environment.
Wow.
And that scratching sound, you know, it's so classic in horror.
It is.
It just like immediately creates this sense of dread.
Yeah, like you're just waiting for something bad to happen.
Yeah, like you know something's on the other side of that door, but you don't know what.
Right, and it's getting closer.
Exactly. And it gets even more intense.
Okay.
The scratching turns into this soft but very distinct knocking.
Oh, no.
And Lily can actually feel something pressing against the door. Oh, my God. Like it's trying to push its way in.
Exactly. And it's like whatever's out there is getting bolder, more insistent.
And in many cultures, knocking is seen as a way for spirits to communicate.
Really?
Yeah, like to make their presence known. And the fact that it's escalating, you know,
Right.
it really suggests that whatever is outside that door is becoming more and more intent on making contact.
Like it's testing the boundaries, seeing how far it can push things.
It's like it wants to get in.
I know, it's so creepy. And then something really bizarre happens.
What?
One of Lily's friends wakes up, but her eyes are wide open and she's staring straight at Lily.
Okay.
But it's like she doesn't really see her, you know?
That's so creepy.
I know, right?
It's like that uncanny valley thing.
Exactly. Like she's looking right at Lily, but there's no recognition.
Yeah, it's like she's not even there.
Yeah, and Lily thinks maybe she's sleepwalking, but the way she describes it, it's like something else has taken control.
Like something is inside her friend.
Yeah, it's like those stories about spirit possession.
Where an entity can temporarily inhabit a person's body.
Right.
And then it gets even creepier.
Don't tell me.
Lily's friend starts whispering
Yeah.
in this strange, distorted voice.
Oh,
A
God.
voice that's definitely not her own.
That is so scary.
I know, and whispering like that is often associated with spirit communication in Japanese folklore.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it suggests that whatever is there, it's capable of more than just knocking or scratching.
Yeah.
It can actually like manipulate and communicate.
And it chose to do it through her friend.
Exactly.
Wow, that's chilling.
I know, and here's where it gets even more disturbing.
Wow.
So Lily is fluent in Japanese.
Okay.
And she starts to understand bits and pieces of what her friend is whispering.
And what does she say?
Things like, look at me.
Don't let
And
me.
closer, closer.
Oh, God.
I know, and it's not even in her friend's voice.
That's so creepy.
It's in this like distorted whisper, and it's in Japanese,
Wow.
which is so freaky because her friend doesn't even speak Japanese. And just think about the power of suggestion in that moment, you know?
It's like something primal, you know, like tapping into our deepest fears.
Totally. It's like this entity is intentionally trying to draw Lily in
Yeah.
to break down the barrier between them.
Like it wants her to look at it.
Yeah, and the repetition of those phrases, look at me, closer, closer, it's meant to create this sense of urgency, like this is inevitable.
Like she has to look.
Yeah, and Lily is terrified.
Of course.
But then thankfully her friend just falls back asleep.
So it stops.
Yeah, the whispers stop, the staring stops.
Thank God.
I know Lily tries to wake up her other friend just to break the tension, you know?
Right.
But the moment she touches her,
Oh, no.
the whispers start again.
Yeah.
This time they're even closer, and her first friend is back to staring at her with those wide, unblinking eyes.
Oh, my God. That's awful.
It's like, whatever this thing is, it has complete control of the situation.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
I know Lily spends the rest of the night frozen in fear, just trying to ignore what's happening around her.
Hoping it'll go away.
Exactly, and finally morning comes, and with the daylight, everything seems to return to normal.
Wow.
Yeah, her friends wake up with absolutely no memory of what happened.
So they don't remember any of it.
Nothing. And it's crazy because this is something that we see a lot in cases of like hauntings or possessions.
Really?
Yeah, like people will have selective memory or even complete amnesia surrounding a traumatic event.
Huh. So maybe their minds are protecting them.
And yeah, maybe it's like a defense mechanism
Yeah, that makes sense.
to block out something that was just too terrifying to process.
Right.
Lily is just desperate to get out of there.
Yeah.
So they check out at the Ryokan as soon as possible.
Smart.
And she's trying to convince herself that it's over.
Yeah.
But as they're leaving,
Oh,
she
no.
notices something that just makes her blood run cold.
What is it?
They're walking out, and the receptionist, the same one who gave them the warning,
Yeah.
he's just standing there watching them with this strange, unsettling look on his face.
Like he knew.
Yeah, and remember, he told them not to look back if they heard anything strange.
Oh, right.
So maybe this silence means that he knows more than he let on.
About what happened in that Ryokan.
Exactly. Like maybe he's seen this happen before.
Or even experienced it himself.
Ugh, that's a scary thought.
Yeah.
And just as they're about to leave, Lily glances back at their room.
No, why would she do that?
I know, right? But she does.
Oh, God, I hate looking back.
Yeah, it's like that horror movie trope.
Yeah, you never look back.
But she does, and what she sees is chilling.
Okay, what is it?
The curtains in their room are partially open,
Okay.
And for just a fleeting moment, she swears she sees a pale white hand slowly pulling them closed.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
It's like a final image before they leave.
Right.
That confirms that something was watching them.
Yeah.
And that whatever it is might not be confined to the Ryokan. Lily thinks she's escaped the nightmare. But she's wrong. Dead wrong. Because back home in America, things start to get really strange.
So it followed her home.
Yeah, and if it's not bound to a place, then what can stop it?
I don't know. That's a terrifying thought.
So at first, it's subtle. You know, just this feeling, like the unsettling sensation of being watched even when she's alone at home.
Right.
And then the nightmares start.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and they're vivid, like recurring dreams that take her back to that Ryokan room.
Wow.
Yeah, the darkness pressing in and that same soft rhythmic knocking on the door.
So she's reliving it in her dreams.
Exactly, and it makes you think, you know, like dreams can be powerful. They can be manifestations of our fears and anxieties.
Right.
So maybe the nightmares are a sign that the trauma of that Ryokan experience is just deeply embedded in her psyche. You know?
That makes sense.
But what if it's more than just psychological?
Oh?
What if they're like a way for the entity to maintain a connection with her?
Oh, wow.
To keep her tethered to that night in Japan?
Like it's haunting her through her dreams.
Exactly, and it gets worse. One night she wakes up, and her bedroom door is wide open.
No way.
And she distinctly remembers locking it before bed.
So how did it open?
Exactly, and that feeling returns.
What feeling?
That certainty that something is inside her room with her. It's the worst. And this is where the entity is like crossing a boundary, you know?
Right.
It's no longer confined to a distant Ryokan.
It's in her house.
Yeah, it's in her home, her sanctuary, the place that should feel safest.
That's scary.
It is, and that violation of personal space is like a major theme in a lot of Japanese ghost stories.
Is it?
Yeah, it's about the disruption of harmony, you know, like the intrusion of the supernatural into the mundane.
That makes sense.
And then she hears it.
Here's what?
That whisper.
Oh, God.
The same one from the Ryokan.
No.
But this time it's clear as day, and it sends shivers down her spine.
Okay, what does it say?
It says, "I followed you back."
Oh, my God.
So it's not a coincidence.
Right.
It's not her imagination.
No, this entity is intelligent, aware.
And it wants her to know it's with her.
That's terrifying.
It is, and it makes you wonder, like, what is this entity?
Yeah.
Is it just attached to her now, or is it something more malevolent?
Right, did it, like, seek her out?
Exactly. It's like it's toying with her, reminding her that it's there, always watching.
And she can't get away from it.
Nope. Lily tries to ignore it, but it only gets worse.
What happens?
She starts seeing shadows in the corners of her room.
Oh, no.
These fleeting glimpses of something dark and undefined.
But when she looks directly at them,
they vanish.
It's like they don't want to be seen.
Exactly. And shadows are like a recurring motif in Japanese horror, right?
Yeah, they represent that, like, liminal space between the physical and the spiritual.
Right.
Like they embody the unseen.
The things that lurk just beyond our perception.
Exactly.
So it's like this entity is playing a psychological game with her.
Yeah, it's keeping her off balance.
Making her doubt her own sanity.
That's so messed up.
I know, right? And then one day,
what happens?
One of Lily's friends comes over to hang out.
Okay.
And as they're talking, her friend suddenly turns to her, looking really uncomfortable, and says, "Are you really alone? I feel like someone is standing behind you."
Oh my God.
I know, it's like her worst fears are being confirmed.
Yeah.
This isn't just in her head.
Right.
It's real, and it's affecting those around her.
That's scary.
And then it starts.
What starts?
The knocking?
Oh, no, not yet.
That same soft rhythmic tapping from the Ryokan.
But it's in her house now.
It's in her house, and it's not coming from the door this time.
Where is it coming from?
It's coming from inside her room.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it's escalating.
Right.
It's not just making its presence known through whispers and shadows anymore.
It's like interacting with her environment.
Yeah, like it's getting bolder, more confident in its ability to affect the physical world.
That's terrifying.
Lily hears it first in her closet.
Oh no.
These slow, deliberate knocks coming from behind the closed doors.
Oh, I hate that.
And then the next night, it's even worse.
Don't tell me.
The knocking comes from under her bed.
Oh, God, no.
And it's like this gradual progression, right? From the door to the closet to under the bed.
Just getting closer and closer.
Exactly. It's systematically encroaching on her space.
Trapping her.
Making her feel completely vulnerable.
Like prey.
And imagine hearing this at night.
Yeah, in the dark.
When your senses are already heightened.
And your imagination is running wild.
It's pure terror.
I can't even imagine.
Lily can feel the vibrations through the mattress.
Oh, God.
It's right there under her, and she's utterly helpless.
That's awful.
And then the knocking stops.
So it's over.
No, she hears a new sound.
What is it?
It's a scratching, long, slow, and deliberate.
Like
Fingernails dragging across the underside of her bed frame.
it's trying to get to her.
And it's like this shift in the entity's behavior, right?
Yeah.
It's becoming more aggressive.
More invasive.
That scratching, it's more than just a sound.
Yeah, it's like a physical action.
It suggests that this thing is actually trying to break through to reach her.
Oh, God.
And Lily is petrified. She's trapped.
That's terrifying to think about, like, being trapped with something like that.
I know. And then it
I
happens.
could say.
She hears a soft, raspy whisper coming from under the bed.
Oh, no.
It's speaking Japanese.
Okay.
And she can't understand all of it, but she catches a few phrases.
What does it say?
Things like, I'm on the bed now, you try it.
What?
And I'm in the shower, you try it.
It's talking to her.
And these phrases, they're so chilling.
Yeah.
Because they're not just threats, they're like invitations.
But scary invitations.
Exactly, like it's trying to entice her into participating in something.
Like a ritual.
But there's this clear implication that doing so would be a huge mistake.
Yeah, like don't do what it says.
Lily knows instinctively that responding would be a terrible idea. So she stays perfectly still.
Like not even breathing.
Barely breathing. And then she feels it.
Feels what?
Something crawling out from under the bed. Oh, God.
And onto her mattress.
Oh, my God.
And it moves slowly, deliberately. And she can't see it, but she can feel the pressure of its weight as it gets closer and closer.
Or I die.
It's pure nightmare fuel, right?
Yeah.
And then it stops.
Where?
Right above her head.
Oh, my God.
Lily is frozen in fear, her heart pounding.
I bet.
She can feel its cold, heavy breath on her skin.
Ah, that's awful.
And then it whispers again, this time in English, right next to her ear.
What does it say?
Look at me.
Oh, my God.
It's so creepy, right? And the fact that it's speaking English now, it makes it so much more personal.
Right. It's like it's invading her thoughts.
Totally. And Lily refuses to look.
She knows better.
She knows that if she does, something terrible will happen. But the pressure is unbearable.
Right.
She can feel the entity's weight on her chest, its cold breath on her face.
It's like it's suffocating her.
And then, just as suddenly as it started, the pressure lifts.
So it's gone.
The weight disappears. The whispers fade away.
Lily just lies there trembling, unsure if it's truly gone or just waiting.
To attack again.
Yeah. And finally, morning arrives.
Good.
Lily is exhausted, but she's relieved to have survived another night.
I bet.
She gets out of bed and glances at the spot where that thing was lying on top of her.
And what does she see?
That's when she notices something that makes her stomach drop. There's this deep indentation in her mattress, like someone had been sitting there, just pressing down with all their weight.
Wow.
But get this, when she touches the spot, it's ice cold.
Really?
Like significantly colder than the rest of the mattress.
That's so creepy. And, in Japanese folklore, spirits are often associated with a drop in temperature.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like this sudden chill.
Like they're bringing a piece of the spiritual realm with them.
Exactly. A realm that's inherently colder, more ethereal.
And then it gets weirder.
What?
She watches as the indentation in her mattress slowly starts to fade away.
Like it was never there.
Exactly. It's like it never happened.
That's so strange. It's like this entity is defying our understanding of physics.
Yeah.
It's
like it exists on the edge of reality, and then one morning, Lily's mom knocks on her door to wake her up. But when Lily opens the door, there's no one there.
Oh, that's freaky.
So creepy. She runs downstairs and finds her mom in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Acting like nothing happened.
So she asks her about it.
Yeah, she's like, did you just knock on my door? And her mom's like, no, I just woke up.
That's unsettling. Like, what if this entity is starting to mess with other people, too?
Right. Like, what if it's not just targeting Lily anymore?
And it could be mimicking voices or even manipulating memories.
Like gaslighting her, making her question her own sanity.
Exactly. And in Japanese folklore, there are these stories about spirits that can project illusions.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like trick people into seeing or hearing things that aren't real.
And then Lily's mom says something that just chills her to the bone.
What does she say?
She casually mentions that she saw Lily standing outside her bedroom door in the middle of the night.
Wait, what?
But Lily swears she never left her room.
So who did her mom see?
I know, right? It's like this entity can create a doppelganger.
Oh my God.
Like it can mimic the people closest to you.
That's messed up.
And its motives are so unclear.
Yeah, like, is it just trying to scare her?
Or is there something more sinister going on?
It's like it's escalating.
Becoming more manipulative.
And Lily's experiences just keep getting more intense.
Yeah, the shadows are everywhere now, and they're not just in her room anymore.
So it's spreading.
It's like this darkness that's slowly enveloping her whole life.
And it's learning how to exploit her fears.
Like it's playing a game with her.
A terrifying game.
And she's losing, so she starts looking through the photos she took in Japan.
For clues.
Yeah, hoping that maybe she missed something that could explain what's happening.
And does she find anything?
She's flipping through these photos, and one image from her ryokan room on the first night just jumps out at her.
Oh, wait.
It's just a normal photo of the room. But when she zooms in on the sliding glass door,
Yeah.
there reflected in the glass is a tall, shadowy figure standing behind her.
Oh my God, so she wasn't imagining things.
Nope, there was something there all along.
And the camera caught it.
And then she checks the timestamp on the photo.
Yeah.
It was taken at 3 a.m.
The same time her mom saw that figure.
Exactly. It's like this entity is not bound by time.
It can be in multiple places at once.
It's a chilling thought.
Hmm.
She tries to delete the photo from her phone, but as soon as she does, the lights in her room go out.
No way.
She's fumbling for the light switch, and then she hears a whisper close to her ear.
What does it say?
It says, "You will never let me go again."
It's like a declaration of ownership.
Yeah, like it's claiming her.
So what happens next?
That's where her story ends.
So she's still living with this entity.
Yeah, she knows it's still out there watching, waiting.
Wow. That's a terrifying thought.
And it really makes you think you know.
About what?
What if that ryokan receptionist knew more than he let on?
Right, like what if his warning wasn't just a spooky story?
Yeah, what if it was a genuine attempt to protect them from something dangerous?
Something ancient and powerful.
And that makes you wonder what other secrets are out there, you know?
Lurking in the shadow.
Waiting to be uncovered.
Reflected in the glass.
So just remember Lily's story. Keep your eyes open, your ears tuned, and maybe leave a light on tonight.
You never know what might be out there.
Thanks for listening.